All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at a pretty fascinating psychological paradox today. Have you ever wondered why feeling like you're constantly failing might actually be the ultimate sign that your mind is just highly intelligent? It sounds crazy, right? But today, we're decoding the hidden architecture of the intelligent mind, looking closely at 6 scientifically backed signs of high intelligence.
So do you feel like a failure, even though people are constantly telling you how smart you are? If you're nodding your head yes right now, let me just validate something right out of the gate. Feeling totally out of sync with the world, or feeling like you're literally overthinking your entire life away, that doesn't mean you're broken. Not at all. It actually means you're likely operating at a cognitive depth that most people around you simply can't perceive.
This brings us to Section 1, the intelligence paradox, and why the smart mind often feels, well, broken.
You see, society tends to measure intelligence by absolute certainty. But there's a huge contrast here. While the average mind speaks with total conviction, highly intelligent individuals are frequently stuck in these complex mental layers. You question everything, including your own value and capabilities. It's kind of ironic, but the more you know, the more you actually doubt yourself.
All right, let's move into Section 2, the burden of depth. We're going to look at why seeing layers and questioning everything isn't actually a sign of indecisiveness.
And this brings us right to our first sign. You see layers, not conclusions. Think about it. Do you ever struggle to just give a simple yes or no answer? Or maybe you agonize over how to reply to a totally basic text message? People might call you slow or indecisive. But that happens because your brain immediately sees a dozen hidden variables, exceptions, and contradictions. You're relying on really deep, abstract reasoning. You aren't just satisfied knowing what is true. You have this relentless, natural drive to understand why it's true. Simple answers, they just feel completely unfinished to you.
And because you're so driven by the why, you hit sign number 2. You constantly question your own knowledge and analyze your past mistakes. You might feel like a total failure because you're always revisiting your decisions, agonizing over what you could have done better. But psychology shows this intense self-reflection is actually proof of high intelligence. It proves you value genuine growth and accuracy over the comfortable illusion of understanding.
This whole phenomenon is perfectly captured by the Dunning-Kruger effect. Basically, low-ability individuals often feel like absolute geniuses. Why? Because they completely lack the capacity to see their own blind spots. High-ability minds, on the other hand, struggle because they see the nuance and the exceptions everywhere. So, that doubt you feel? It's not a weakness. It's literally a symptom of seeing the full picture.
Moving on to Section 3, a mind out of sync. Let's talk about mental forecasting and social disconnection.
Now, this radically reframes how we view ourselves. Society absolutely loves to label you with personal flaws, right? Calling you anxious or antisocial. But psychology calls these exact same traits predictive processing and intellectual mismatch. These aren't broken parts of your personality. They are actually scientifically backed indicators of incredible cognitive strength. Which ties right into sign number 3. Do you ever catch yourself running fake scenarios in your head? You know, imagining a 10-step argument that hasn't even happened yet? Society calls it anxiety, but it's actually mental forecasting. You're running internal simulations to prepare for future conflicts, successes, or even rejections. It might look like you're slow to act on the outside, but it ensures that when you do finally move, your actions are highly calculated and intentional, never impulsive. And when you take that fast-paced brain out into the real world, you hit sign 4, intellectual mismatch. Look, if you find small talk absolutely draining, you aren't antisocial. You're just experiencing a mismatch. Your mind is operating at a completely different pace and depth than your surroundings. You struggle to find peers who share your speed and curiosity, simply because you profoundly value meaningful depth over repetitive, shallow frequency.
Okay, Section 4, Hidden Origins and Autonomy. Let's look at survival skills and the search for mental freedom.
For a lot of people, this unique brain architecture actually comes from a very specific place. Sign number 5 points to traumatic intelligence. If you grew up in a chaotic, unpredictable, or really intense environment, you might have developed this rare form of smarts. This hyper-awareness, it wasn't meticulously built by a teacher in a classroom. It was developed entirely too early as a strict survival mechanism, just to keep you safe in a volatile world.
And because of that early environment, you developed heightened pattern detection. You naturally notice tiny shifts in tone, you track sudden changes in a room's energy, and you read incredibly subtle body language. What feels to you like exhausting overthinking or hypervigilance is actually lightning-fast mental processing. Your brain learned to scan for signals early on, making you incredibly adept at reading people today.
Which leads right into sign 6. You resist forced structure and traditional 9-to-5 schedules. Be honest with me, do you absolutely hate being told what to do? Even when the advice is genuinely good? Struggling to stick to routine rules or a rigid 9-to-5 job can really make you feel unmotivated, but psychology says your resistance means something else entirely.
It means you have a strict internal locus of control. You aren't lazy, you just have a deep, fundamental need for autonomy. You work best by choice, not by external pressure. Actually, this is exactly why you might suddenly get a massive burst of motivation at 2 in the morning. You're searching for mental freedom away from all those external social demands, because the quiet of the night is when your mind finally feels safe enough to create. This brings us to our final section, Section 5. Complexity is your strength, and why seeing more makes life richer. Intelligence isn't just about knowing more, it's about seeing more. Having that extra vision definitely makes life feel infinitely more complicated. And yeah, it ensures you'll probably never perfectly fit into the simple mold that society rewards. But the truth is, your complexity is actually your greatest strength. You're seeing the whole chessboard, not just the single piece right in front of you. You really do have a rare gift. So if decoding this psychology resonated with you today, make sure to subscribe to the channel. In this Explainer series, we are completely dedicated to helping you uncover the hidden patterns most people just completely miss. Because once you finally understand the pattern, you gain the power to control it, rather than letting it control you. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. Does high intelligence actually make life easier, or does it just make it profoundly more complex? Take a moment to reflect on your own mind and your own experiences with overthinking and pattern detection. I'd absolutely love to hear your perspective, so please share your thoughts in the comments down below. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next Explainer.